We're doing a variety of things for veterans. We have encompassed for ourselves education in post-traumatic stress so that we're fully able to serve the veterans who may have had these kinds of experiences. We're partnering, pairing our veterans with volunteers who are veterans as well. And of course, those veterans are coming from certainly the Second World War. There's definitely the older ones that we're seeing in hospice care quite regularly, but also those from Korean War, the Vietnam War, and even the current wars.
Vietnam for me is loaded with emotions. There was fear, there was camaraderie, there was self-respect in what I did. There was sadness for the guys who didn't make it. I think a lot repressed a tremendous amount. There's a lot of stuff going on that gets repressed and suppressed, and it's in there.
We went down in the South Pacific. We would fire guns all night long, just firing the guns. Now, I couldn't deal with it, I don't think, the things that went on, the things that I saw. I don't think I could really just sit and watch it and not become emotional about it. Because I think back sometime now about what went on. I would not want to go through it again. I would not want to go through that again.
There was usually a contingent of flyboys close by, so they'd come over, and then you'd see them go out in the morning, and you'd see so many planes go out, and you'd see a fewer numbers come home a lot of times. So you knew that there were casualties, and sometimes somebody who had come didn't come anymore, and you just didn't ask any questions.
I served in the Navy during World War II. I had a full 25 years, a lot of ships, a lot of different places. The thing that never leaves me is the burials at sea. When we land, the kids that got hit, if they were wounded and we could, we'd drag them back into the boat, take them back to the ship, and if the corpsman could do anything for them, fine. If not, then we'd put them in a bag, and that night we'd drop them in the ocean. And somebody'd say, anybody know a prayer? Anything, and somebody'd say, I, and then they'd say the prayer, and I remember staring down on the bodies, and they were all in a row, and I thought that, something wrong with this picture here. You just can't imagine.
Some of the hospice work is helping patients let go if there's something that they're hanging on to. For veterans, there might be many reasons that they're hanging on to something. It might be the war experience that they haven't had a chance to talk about it, or they haven't felt comfortable talking about it. That's nobody's wanted to listen to their stories.
A contribution that I could make is to be able to give them the opportunity, if they so wish, to express whatever it is that's unfinished, that's still inside.
Part of training, military training, is this whole survival aspect and fighting aspect, and you're fighting for your country and you're fighting for your life. And so when it comes to the end of life, and we're talking about letting go of things, it contrary to what a veteran had been trained previously, in which is to fight and not to surrender these feelings, not to let go. We had a patient who was a Korean War veteran, and he liked to talk about his war experience frequently. He identified himself with this experience. This gentleman had earned a medal and regretted that he had not received the medal. His nurse obtained the medal, and a volunteer dressed in uniform, a volunteer who was a veteran dressed in uniform, and presented the medal to the patient, and he died very peacefully a few hours later.
I was at the VA center, and I was walking out, and it was a tall gentleman, and he had a Nam hat on. And I said, if I could ask, where were you in country? And he said, and I asked him a couple questions, and he could tell by my questions. He said, where were you? And I said where I was. And he put out his hand and said, welcome home.